everyone, it's Anthony Allen Ramos. Okay, so singer Meghan Linsey has been a longtime friend to the LGBTQ community. You've seen her at our concert for Love and Acceptance in Nashville previously, and guess what? She's back with new music. There's a brand new single called If You Need Me, Don't, which actually, the music video just happens to feature some fabulous drag queens. Meghan, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Doing well. Okay, I love the new song. I feel like it's a little bluesy, which I love. It's very empowering. Tell me about kind of why this was the one that you wanted to kind of come back into the music scene with us.
I think, obviously it's sassy, which I love, but it's very like the way we did the production, with the horns and like kind of getting back to like my New Orleans roots. It just felt like a really good representation of like what's to come on the album. Musically, but then also just the message. I think I love a woman empowerment message, and just just being able to like kind of show off that like sassy, like bluesy vocal side.
Love that. And I love that you decided, talking about female empowerment, you decided to bring some of your drag queen friends in as to be a part of the music video. I feel like one of them is like a Reba drag queen. Am I wrong? Like there's a lot.
Yeah, no, obscenity. Yeah, that's what he's doing. Yeah.
But why was that important for you to? Because we know that you're, such a supporter and you've been an ally. But what for this specifically? Why did you want to have those two in this?
I think for me, obviously like representation matters. And like I was making this, every time I'm like making any kind of art or like putting anything out on my platform, I'm always thinking from that mindset, And so I just thought it would be really fun, obviously, to have, have drag queens as my girls in the video. And it was the most fun day ever. But yeah, that was kind of my thinking when going in was like, hey, it'd be really cool to include this, because obviously I come from the country space as well, and like a lot of my followers are country music fans, and like you don't see drag queens in videos on CMT a lot, so I thought it would be really a cool thing to showcase.
No, we're here for that. And I think that leads us into a really good conversation. Thinking back recently, Casey Musgraves being honored by GLAAD for her allyship. I really feel like with Lily Rose and TJ Osborne, we're in a moment when it comes to country music for more inclusivity, with people like you being allies. What does it feel like right now? Do you think that times are finally changing for LGBTQ artists and, just LGBTQ people within the country music space?
For sure. Yeah, I definitely think it's going in the right direction. There's still some like things that have set us back, and then we take two steps forward and a step back, and I feel like that's kind of where we're at. I also feel like there's probably like perimeters around like what's acceptable within that. Like, okay, we're gonna feature this, but this is too much, or you know what I mean? I feel like there's definitely still some barriers there that we need to work through, but I am happy to kind of see it moving. We're getting a little more progressive, at least, which, to be fair, it really shouldn't even be considered progressive. It should be the normal, but from where we've come from, it definitely seems like progress.
Yeah, and like, thinking back when you joined us a couple years back for the concert for Love and Acceptance, curious, you mentioned your Louisiana roots. Was there someone like a friend or a family member that was LGBTQ that you came across early on that, you made you want to be a supporter? Or, I always like to hear when or why it was that someone wanted to kind of just be like an ally and a vocal supporter.
Yeah, I was super young, like really, really young, probably like 3 or 4. And my mom had a friend. She worked at Turo Hospital in New Orleans, and her friend Hesh was a nurse there, and he was gay. And I didn't like understand what that meant at the time. Obviously, I was so young, but I just didn't, at the time my mom's like, oh, this is Hesh. And back then, I don't know, like if this was a thing, but like there was that whole like the right earring thing. Do you remember this?
I do remember.
Like to identify you as being gay. And he had that. And I remember asking my mom, I'm like, oh, is he gay? And she was like, yeah. And like it didn't seem like that. My mom was so cool, and like she just had so many different types of friends, and they would always be around. So it just never felt like that was not okay or abnormal or anything to me then, obviously like it still doesn't, but it just never really felt weird or anything like that to me. I just like, oh, okay, cool.
I love that. I know I love it when there's like early on. And then the best is like when, like you said, your mom was like totally cool with it. And like, and then that just kind of set you up for being, just if everyone could just be more like that, we'd be in a much better space.
Absolutely.
I also think about earlier this year or the end of last year, every year, it's all blending it with the Queer Eye song the cover that you got to do.
Yeah.
How cool was that?
It was so cool. I did that a while ago because my friend Jen Lane is an executive producer of the show. And when I remember being out in LA, I was staying with her and her wife, and they're like my LA family. Every time I go there, I end up staying with them. But I was up with her late at night. She was like, so I'm going to bring Queer Eye back. And she was kind of telling me like the concept of bringing it back. And at the time she was like still trying to figure out what she's doing, as a producer and what she's going to do next. And so she kind of told me the concept and I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And then she kind of got into like the whole moral compass of the show. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Cause I feel like they're adding on a whole dimension to bringing the show back. And so she was like, yeah, would you guys want to take a stab at the theme song? And we're like, of course. So we did it. And then they ended up like passing on it. They put it at the end of a like episode as a bumper, like the first season. And then they called us like, before the season came out and they're like, we're going to Texas. They're like, your version makes a lot of sense. They're like, are you guys cool? Like we use it for the theme song, which of course was awesome. And of course we were cool because the show is just like obviously blown up, but super cool to be a part of that.
I love that. Do you have, are you a Drag Race fan? Like, obviously you love Queer Eye. Like, what are some of your LGBTQ fave things that you love right now, whether it's a TV show, film, or anything like that?
Well, I've been watching Drag Race with Georges. I've gone to some of the watch parties and stuff at Tribe, so that's been really fun. I obviously am really into Queer Eye. That's probably like that. I just feel like Queer Eye is so well done, and I feel like it's just so easy to put on and watch, and it puts you in a good mood. And we need more of that right now. So it's definitely one that I watch a lot.
No, it's good. And I think with Queer Eye specifically, and like with it being in Texas, obviously so much is going on in Texas. It does bring in like really important conversations. And I think for you being from Louisiana, there's so many states right now that are introducing these bills that are really just either limiting or taking back LGBTQ rights. What's your reaction to that? And what would you say to kind of those things that are happening to really just kind of take away our rights?
I just don't, first of all, I just don't understand like the idea of like not like doing anything that would hinder a person or make it like not okay for you to be completely just who you are, especially when it's absolutely not hurting anyone else. It's really just like, it's very, it's unsettling and it's really messed up, obviously I don't get it, I guess. And I would, obviously I try to, use my platform to be a voice, to speak out against things, against injustices, in all forms. But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. It just seems really cruel.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And so like I mentioned earlier, we've got the new single, If You Need Me, Don't. And then I think I saw on your Instagram, did you have another song that was on Station 19 recently? Is that right?
Yeah. I had this song called Bold Like a Lion that I wrote. It came out on my last record like 5 years ago, but they ended up calling me and seeing about placing it. And so that was really cool. It's always cool when songs like you write something and then like years later it comes back out. And this seems to be a theme with me. But super cool. I love getting placements like that. It's awesome.
When are we hearing the next? Because we've got this lead single, which is so good. When I feel like people, it's like you pull one out and they're like, "Where's the next one?" You're like, "Let me just enjoy this one." But when is the next one?
I do. I'm excited. I have a new song. It's so funny. I wrote this song like 7 days ago, and like we went in and like immediate. I mean, I have a lot of songs already for this project, but this one we were just like, we got to get in the studio. We got to record it. This has to be the next single. So that's kind of where we're at. I actually finished the recording already. And I don't know if you know Ford Fairchild.
Yeah.
But we've been working a lot together recently. And so we're already talking like video and performance and all this stuff. So I'm really, really, really excited about that one.
Oh, we're so excited. Well, Megan, it's always good to catch up with you. And just a reminder, everyone, the new single, If You Need Me, Don't, is out now. Music video, like I said, features some drag queen cameo appearances, which are so fun. And always so much love for you. And thanks for the support always. We feel the love.
Oh, I love you guys. So I appreciate it.
All right, we'll talk soon.